Northridge, we're blessed to be able to build a number of beautiful, quality custom homes for families in our area every single year. But it can be intimidating for customers coming into the process with the number of details and decisions that have to be made along the way. We try to break our process of design down into 3 phases to make that customer experience easy and enjoyable. The first stage deals with the plan set development. When we're starting the plan development phase, the first thing we're going to do is evaluate what the customer's need is. We're going to talk about the size of home they're looking to build, the budget that they're looking to stay inside of, and the land that they're going to build on. Typically, our customers are bringing their land to us, and we're going to go out and look at what the site conditions are, talk about adjacencies and flow, and what rooms need to be included in the floor plan, and sizes of each of those. That's what takes us into what we call our one-line stage in the plan. In the one-line stage, we're going to take all of the concepts that we've pulled together from size of the lot, conditions on the lot, desires of the customer, and we're going to build a basic concept of the flow of the home. There will be no wall sizes shown. It'll just be basically on graph paper, room by room, size by size, the flow of the general house. Once we've refined that and gone through that in a number of different versions, we'll go into the next stage of the plan design process, which is basically your CAD stage. During the CAD stage, we're now going to take what we developed in the one-line stage and we're going to put it into a computer animated design program. That's going to allow us to look at things like wall sizes and how that impacts the overall square footage of the home, how big those walls need to be depending on their bearing or what needs to be inside of them. We're going to start to think about where the truss bearing is going to go, and we're going to have just a general concept of the plan in a floor plan view with no roof or no elevations yet. After we've gone through several versions of the CAD floor plan and we've made sure that everything is exactly how the customer wants it, we're going to go into the elevation stage. At the elevation stage, we're now going to be able to see a rendering of what the exterior of the home is going to look like. We're going to look at window and door sizes. We're going to look at header placement. We're going to look at roof pitches and size and shape. We're going to look at siding details and material layout so that we can really get that exterior design the way the customer wants it. And once we've got all of those things finalized and we know that this house really represents aesthetically what the customer wants, we're going to go into the engineering stage. At this stage, before we go into engineering, we're doing one more look through the home to really refine any details that are going to impact our interior design later on. We're doing things like looking at shower wall placement and making sure we have the interior walls inside the shower where we need them for valve and niche placement. We're looking at things like mechanical chases and fireplace structures so that we have enough room for the units that are going to be installed there. We'll take all of those details and we'll put them into the plan set anywhere that they need to be incorporated into the structure or framing of the home so that the finish later on can come together perfectly. At this stage though, all of the details in terms of cabinetry, countertops, flooring choices, tile selection are all really placeholders in our plan set. Those are things we're going to deal with in detail when we get into the interior selection stage. Right now on plan, we have some cabinets drawn, we have some appliances drawn, but those are going to be moved around and adjusted as we create full renderings of the kitchen and finalize those details in the interior selections phase. Next is the engineering stage, and at this stage, we're pulling together all of the professionals that need to give their input on the plan set to make sure that it's going to stand up to the test of time. Here we're looking at soils reports on the property so we can make sure that any groundwater or rock issues or fill issues are all addressed properly. We're looking at any high wall engineering that needs to be incorporated into the foundation of the home so that we have structural integrity. We're going to look at truss engineering where we're going to make sure we have the proper snow loads accounted for and wind shear on the exterior of the home so that we can really make sure this home is quality and can stand up to the climate in this area. During this engineering and final stages of the plan set, Northridge does a number of internal design reviews to make sure that we've gone through all of our checklists and we've made sure that every T is crossed, every I is dotted, and everything on this plan is truly ready to submit to the county to get approval to build. Now that the plan set is almost fully engineered and we're itemizing the budget so that we can submit documents to the bank, we're ready to go into the second stage of this design process, which is the permitting and lending. When we're going in for permit and the customer is financing their build, we want to submit all the documents for permit at the same time that we submit the documents to the bank. That gives the customer the ability to have both of those timelines running at the same time. On the permitting side, the things we're dealing with at this point are making sure that our mechanical, heating and cooling documents are all in line with what the county is going to require and match the plan. Making sure that we have all of our structural engineering submitted, making sure that any soils reports, geotech reports, and those requirements are all submitted so that we can get a site disturbance permit in place. The nice thing about the years of experience that Dale has is that he can look at all of these documents, understand the ins and outs in every one of them, and review them in-house to make sure that when we submit for permit, we submit complete. On the lending side, the bank is going to be looking for a few different documents from the customer that they need to submit. On our end as the builder, we're going to submit the plan set, we're going to submit an itemized budget, and a few other odds and ends of documents that the bank is going to want to look at. From there, once we have a permit, we send that over to the bank, and usually the bank is ready to approve and move forward with the whole project. Now that the permit is almost ready to issue and the lending is almost ready to go, we're going to start moving into the third phase of design, which is your interior and exterior selections. The beginning of the selections process is where the customer is actually going to get added to our online portal. The online portal that we use gives the customer a personal login where they can access their project. As we develop a schedule, they can access the schedule in this portal. And in the selections phase, they're going to be able to access information about the allowances they have for each line item, as well as the selections that we've made to date. They'll be able to track balances of those allowances and let the money roll from one allowance to another as they have overs and unders on each of those. Once we've gotten them into the portal and we know what our allowances are, we're going to start setting some vendor meetings, and we're going to start going out to the different locations in town where we're going to make our selections of materials. Our first stops are usually going to be Ferguson and Huntwood. We're going to go to Ferguson and look at our appliances. And we're going to go to Huntwood and look at our cabinets. These two are the really important, crucial first step in designing the kitchen, and we need to make sure that the cabinet package is built around the appliances that this customer is choosing. We actually go down to Ferguson and we work directly with our reps there so that they can inform our customers about today's current options, the best choices for them, and the current supply issues and where we can make the best choices so that we can make sure we get the materials we need. Once we have our appliance package nailed down, we're going to go over to Huntwood and we're going to work up the cabinetry. The nice thing about working in the showroom is we can see all the color options, all the door styles, a number of different displays that are going to help us make decisions, and we can sit down and do a 3D rendering of the kitchen so the customer really can visualize what their kitchen is going to look like. Once we've got appliances done, we set our cabinet design. Once we have our cabinet design, we can then move into looking at countertops. It's a great experience to go walk and see all the options available. There are a million different colors and textures and patterns inside of the countertops available. So this is a fun stage because the island countertop can really be a centerpiece in the home, and going down and taking your cabinet color and holding it up next to it is the first time a customer really starts to visualize some of the components inside their finishes. Now that we have cabinets and countertops picked out, we're going to go down to Fairway Floor and we're going to look at flooring and tile. This is a really fun day because Fairway has so many options. In the world of flooring and tile, we can play with all kinds of combinations, all kinds of configurations, and come up with something the customer absolutely loves. Once we're through the big selections like cabinets, countertops, flooring, and tile, we're going to go into picking out lighting fixtures, plumbing fixtures, and hardware. That's what we consider the jewelry of the home, those little details that will give the home its true character. Aside from the selections I've just talked about, we have about 75 other decisions we're going to make in terms of finishes. That's all going to be managed inside of the customer portal, and it's going to deal with things like fireplace choice, stone around the fireplace, trim material, trim finish, wall texture, and a whole number of other things. Those are the details that make the home truly custom when a customer gets to make those decisions and make it how they want it. That's basically the conclusion of the third phase of design. By the time we're finished with this, we should be ready for rough-in. While the design team is busy working with the customer, making all of these selections and reviewing them over and over, looking at pricing and making final decisions, there's a house being built. Foundation's going in, the walls are going up, and we're getting closer and closer to rough-in. The idea is when we're finished with our initial selections, we're ready for rough-in. That's going to cue us to go do our rough-in walkthrough with the customer, where we're going to lay out cabinets on the floor, we're going to look at island placement, we're going to mark out all the plumbing, all the electrical, and everything else inside the walls to make sure we get one more run at making sure it's what the customer wants. Rough-in is the trigger point for most of these orders being placed, and it's basically the finalizing of all of the selections that we've made to this point. We've taken the last 2 months to go through our design and make sure that we really love it, and now it's time to watch it come together. In the months that come after rough-in, the customer is going to get to go through all kinds of phases. The drywall is going to go on, the cabinets are going to go in, they're going to get to see their countertops put in place, the finishes start to go on, all the fixtures installed, and it will start to feel like a real home. On the day they stand in their kitchen and they get to get the keys to their new home, they're barely going to remember how intimidating the process was in the beginning, when they didn't know what it meant to design and build a home. And we get to see the joy on their face as they look around and experience the home of their dreams that we get to give them.